Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it is time for your TV main event set for one fall with TV time remaining. Introducing first, accompanied by the merchant of violence himself, Stephen E., representing Devastation Incorporated. He makes his way to us from an undisclosed location, weighing 380 pounds, the soldier of fortune, Kenny Kingston. His opponent is from Petticoat Junction, weighing in at 220 pounds. He is the Night Train, Gary Jackson. The bell has sounded. Senior referee Nick Reidenauer has the duty of officiating this contest between two bad men. You can really see the size advantage here. Gary Jackson, 220. Kenny Kingston, 380. That's 160 pounds. And Gary looks like he's giving up. Gosh, from where I'm sitting, not quite a foot, but over 6 inches of height to the soldier of fortune. Gary Jackson has been on the front lines. Look at that, doing a little bit of shuffling, showing his speed and his footwork there, and that's exactly what he's going to have to rely on to stay one step ahead of this beast in Kingston.
Well, there's no doubt that when you talk about the big men, they all come to SICW. Just take a look at the ones that are here. Kingston, Big Texan, Peyton Ayers, Cannonball Matthews, and that list just keeps growing and growing.
Yes, sir. Even the middle area of our big guys, like Attila Khan, he's not the biggest man compared to the larger men in our roster, but he's still 280, almost 300 pounds himself.
And what he lacks in that, he makes up in his diabolical actions that he does.
It's certainly not the land of the cruiserweights, even though the folks on the lighter end of our spectrum, like Roughneck Joey O'Reilly and Billy McNeil, we saw the type of contest and fight that they have inside of them earlier today. So,
well, I think that's what makes SICW
your roster
so
from
unique.
Top to bottom is full with incredible athletes.
Well, it's what makes it so unique. I mean, there's something for everybody, and we don't focus on just one. And you can come here and see the mixture just like now.
Big back elbow from Kingston sends the Night Train to the mat. You know, the Night Train, Gary Jackson, has been on the front lines. Oh, no, big splash. We saw him defeat the Big Texan with that in Belleville recently. Gary Jackson's been on the front lines of the war against Devastation Incorporated from the beginning. Well, Stephen E. says you can't stop it. You can only hope to contain it. But it was Gary Jackson who, from day one, he had enough of this. He's the one that got the band back together. Fans remember it was Gary Jackson, Ron Powers, and Danny Boy Hawkins who fought the fight, and they won the war against Devastation Incorporated and Haku and the Barbarian at the Belclair Fairgrounds to keep SICW under your control.
Well, and I'll never forget what Gary Jackson and Ron and Danny Boy did.
Well,
I mean, it could have been a whole different program.
Yeah, they saved my job too, so I'm deeply in gratitude to the Night Train, who has to come up with a different game plan because this one's not working out for him here. I hate what Stephen E. does to the competitors that he brings under his wing, but I must say that they improve by leaps and bounds. With Stephen E. and with Attila Khan leading those troops, Kenny Kingston has steadily improved. Peyton Ayers is a completely different competitor than he used to be. So, and we see how dominant Lilith Khan has been. So these are dangerous guys. We don't like their methods, but they have been successful in turning their athletes and their mercenaries into really vicious competitors.
Well, and the scary part is we know what their end game is, and that's what makes you sit back there and think about we cannot let that happen. And just when I thought he was gone, he shows back up like that bad penny.
Yeah. You know, it took a lot to get Ron Powers and Danny Boy Hawkins to come out of their respective retirements. If this war continues again, I don't know that we'll be able to rely on our former Warriors in Powers and Hawkins. But thankfully, we've got a locker room that Big Texan has stepped up. He's really our new sheriff in town. And the man who was next to me a few weeks ago, Thunderbolt Patterson, he says he's got money and people if he needs to send help here to have your back to keep SICW under your control.
Well, like I said, I'm confident with the likes of the Gary Jacksons, Bobby D's, Sean Vincent, Jason Breed. You know, we've got a locker room back there that's going to have SICW's best interest, and Gary Jackson's showing that right now.
Yeah, just jack the jaw of Kenny Kingston. Nice swinging neck breaker on the big man. Night Train can't let Kenny Kingston rest. He has to stay on top of the larger competitor. Gary's got to dig deep down into his bag of tricks, rely on his experience. Look at this. He's got fists of fury. Hands of stone, if you will. No pun intended, Ronnie Garvin. Oh, Kenny Kingston, he just tossed Gary Jackson over the top rope. That's a disqualification here in SICW, and this is what we see when they saw they were on maybe the losing end or were about to lose. They don't mind taking a disqualification loss to keep dishing out the punishment. I don't think Stephen E. cares that they lost the fight if it means they can maybe win the longer-term war. Kenny Kingston choking the life out of Jackson with that wrist tape.
This is what I was talking about. This is what worries me, I'll tell you.
Kenny Kingston using that size and strength advantage, just sending Gary Jackson spine first into that metal post. And Gary's no spring chicken. Any one injury or maneuver could spend the end of his career. Gary Jackson's a tough man, but he can't continue to take these risks. You see it. Gary Jackson laid out, on the apron. They got the loss. It's a disqualification loss for Kenny